friends, welcome back to Beautifully Bookish Bethany, where I have new videos every week about books and the geeky mom lifestyle. Subscribe for more bookish videos and hit that notification bell if you want to be notified every time I release a new video. In today's video, I'm sharing my July TBR. So we're headed into July. It's the second half of 2020, which is pretty wild. I have some books for review, some books that I am hoping to get to, some books for a reading project that I'm giving myself over the summer. So let's go ahead and dive into it. As usual, I will start with the pick for my Patreon book club. This is a book that my patrons voted for, and every month we do a different genre. For July, we are going to be reading a nonfiction book that addresses issues surrounding race in America, especially given things that are going on. And the book that has won for July is Just Mercy by Bryan Stevenson. I'm really excited about this because this is a book that I have been wanting to get to for a while, and there is a movie that came out recently with Michael B. Jordan, so I'm also hoping to schedule a live chat where we all watch the film together as well once we've read the book. Just Mercy is a nonfiction account written by a Black lawyer who worked in the criminal justice system, and he addresses the racism inherent in it in the United States. So again, really excited to get to this. This is the book that we will be reading for our book club. If you're interested in joining us, the link to the Patreon is always down below. Thank you so much to all of my patrons for your support, and a special shout out goes out to all of my patrons at the new release hardcover level and above, currently including Trina from Bookish Trina, Sydney from Sydney Stories, Ashley from Books with Ashley on Instagram, Jillian from Jillian's Book Chatter, Lori from Lori's Book Trials, Jessie from The Tiny Tea Set, Maggie from Stormy Reads a Lot, and Jamie from Irish Twins Mama on Instagram. Thank you so much to all of you for your support. The next book on my July TBR is another patron pick. Every month my patrons are entered into a raffle and the winner gets to select a book that they want me to read and review in the coming month. This month, the winner was Maggie, and the book that they wanted me to read is The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. I am actually really excited. This has been on my TBR shelf for a while. I generally do enjoy Ruth Ware's books, and I've heard a lot of really good things about this one in particular. It's a thriller and I think murder mystery following a nanny who takes this job, and in the future timeline, I think one of the kids has died, and then we're going back to see what happened. So yeah, really excited to check this one out, and I will be reading this in July. Then I have 3 physical books for review. First up, one I'm excited to get to is Like Lovers Do by Tracy Livesay. The author reached out to me asking if I'd be interested in reading this, and I said yes, definitely. It sounds very much up my alley, and I had heard really good things about this author previously from Bree Hill, and Steph from Steph's Romance Book Talk, I think, have both read and enjoyed her, and so she's been on my radar, and I'm really excited to have the chance to read this. This one is coming out in August if any of you guys are interested, and apparently Tracy is known for writing really great interracial romances. In this book, our heroine is a Black woman who is a surgeon and kind of a workaholic, and our hero also works in the medical field. This one is a friends to lovers and a fake dating trope. So the two of them are friends from work. So she agrees to become his fake girlfriend for a week, and in the meantime, of course, they fall in love. So this sounds really fun. I'm definitely looking forward to picking this one up in July. Then I had a book sent to me that I didn't request, but I'm kind of excited to check it out. This one is a middle grade book. It's called The Way to Rio Luna by Zoraida Cordova. I generally really like what I've read from Zoraida, and this is a middle grade book that came out in June. It sounds super cute, and it is own voices for Latinx representation if you guys are looking for that. 11-year-old Danny Monteverde believes in magic. He knows that pixie dust is real, that wardrobes act as portals, and that rabbit holes lead to Wonderland. Most of all, he believes that his older sister Peely is waiting for him somewhere in Rio Luna, the enchanted land in their favorite book of fairy tales. Danny doesn't care what the adults say. He knows that Peely isn't another teen runaway. When the siblings were placed in separate foster homes, she promised that she'd come back for him and they'd build a new life together in Rio Luna. So then it says his faith begins to dim until he finds a magical book in the library with a map to Rio Luna and begins this adventure of trying to find his sister. This sounds really sweet and really wonderful, and also addresses some bigger issues, so I am definitely looking forward to picking this one up, hopefully in July. And then I had another book that an author reached out to me about, and this sounds super cool. It's a YA kind of horror thriller. It's called The Glare by Margot Harrison, and it's coming out in July. It has to do with this creepy game on the dark web where if your character in the game dies 13 times, you supposedly die in real life. And it follows a 16-year-old girl who has spent 10 years living in complete isolation from technology and for the first time is going back to sort of the regular world and gets caught up in this dangerous game. It sounds really, really cool, and I also checked out the author's website where she has kind of a blog post that's like super creepy. Like just reading the blog post that's supposedly set in the world of this game like gave me chills, and I'm really excited to check this one out. This summer I'm also setting a project for myself of reading books about werewolves and vampires by authors of color so that I can hopefully do a roundup recommendation for you guys in August when the new Twilight book is coming out. And so there's more than just this on my TBR, but I wanted to share 3 books with you that are in that lineup. So first up I have Fledgling by Octavia Butler. I've been wanting to read more from Octavia Butler. She is definitely a classic in the sci-fi fantasy field, and this book I know does have some difficult themes, but it involves a community of people that are basically like vampires, although I think they have a different word for themselves. So this has been on my TBR for a while. I'm planning on reading it sometime this summer. I also have 2 new books that I've picked up recently. First up I have The Gilda Stories by Jewel Gomez. And this is actually the 25th anniversary edition. I had not really heard of this, but when I started searching for books that would fit into this category, this was one that was recommended. It takes place in 1850s Louisiana, where Gilda escapes from slavery and learns about freedom while working in a brothel, and then is initiated into eternal life as basically a vampire. This one was published in 1991, and it says that it was an instant lesbian classic when it came out. So yeah, I've heard really good things about it. It sounds interesting. I'm excited to dive into that. And then finally for this month, I have My Soul to Keep by Tananarive Due. And this is an author that, again, is apparently a classic who I've never read from. This one I think has like a kind of creepy, eerie vibe to it. It says, Jessica is an African-American journalist as ambitious as she is bright. She is chasing the biggest story of her life, a story that strikes closer to home than she knows. Dawit is an immortal whose ancient thirst for wisdom leads him to break the first commandment of his kind, not to fall in love. Together, they're about to pay the ultimate price for their ambition and their desire. Yeah, so this sounds super interesting. It's like part romance, but gets kind of dark, has vampires. There are more coming as well, but at least for now, these are 3 books all by Black women who wrote about vampires. Then I have 3 books that have recently come to my shelves that I would like to get to this month if I'm able. First up, I have The Cross and the Lynching Tree by James Cone. This is a nonfiction book by a Black theologian that deals with race and racism in light of faith, especially in the United States, and I've heard really good things about it. It's also not a very long book, so I'm definitely hoping to pick this one up this month. Then I was really excited when my pre-order of this book finally came in, and congratulations to the author as a debut New York Times bestseller. This is The Song of Wraiths and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown. I have heard so many good things about this. It's a YA African-inspired fantasy story which features 2 characters who are, I think, getting betrothed, but also each have a reason to assassinate the other person. And it just sounds wonderful and dark, and I've heard really great things about it. Congratulations to Rosie on being a New York Times bestseller. And if you haven't seen the panel where I got to interview her and some other incredible authors, I will link that up above. She was really, really great. And then finally, for physical books that I'm putting on my TBR, I am hoping to get to The Sound of Stars by Alekia Dow. This sounds really fun and really wonderful. It's a YA sci-fi debut with a protagonist who is Black, fat, and queer, and it's supposed to be just kind of lighthearted and fun, and I'm excited for it. Can their love of books and pop music save the world? I mean, like, who doesn't want to read that? It sounds great. Lastly, I'm going to include some of the e-arcs that I have from NetGalley that I'm hoping to get to this month. Yeah, I have been requesting probably way too many e-arcs from NetGalley, and it is starting to catch up with me. I am doing my best to get to them as quickly as I can. First up, I have Would I Lie to the Duke by Eva Lee. This is a historical romance. I really enjoyed the first book in the series. It was a whole lot of fun, and these are historical romances that are loosely inspired by 80s teen movies, which is just really, really fun. So hoping to get to that. I also have The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. I've heard really good things about this. I think this is another one that has queer representation in it, and I can't recall off the top of my head the exact plot, but the cover is phenomenal. I've heard really good things about it, and I'm hoping to pick it up soon. Next up is Unconquerable Sun by Kate Elliott. Kate Elliott has been writing in sci-fi fantasy for a long time. She writes YA and adult, and I've read a bunch of her books and generally really like them. This is her newest adult book coming out, and I'm also, again, not sure exactly what the plot is, but I remember that I looked at it and it looked interesting, so this is my problem, guys. I need to stop requesting NetGalley stuff. Then we have The Care and Feeding of Waspish Widows by Olivia Waite. This is a historical female-female romance, and I have been wanting to read from Olivia Waite. I have another one of her books on my TBR, and this one also sounds really fun. And the last one that I'll mention on here is The Voting Booth by Brandy Colbert. This is a YA contemporary novel that deals with voting and elections, and that seems very timely. So another one that is coming out in July that I'm hopefully gonna get to soon. There are others. I am doing my best, you guys. So there you go. That is my TBR for July. Hopefully I can start catching up on some of the stuff that I've requested. My reading has definitely slowed down more than I had anticipated for June, given everything going on, so I'm a little bit behind, but doing my best to catch up. Talk to me in the comments down below. Let me know what you guys are planning on reading in July, how your reading is going. Do you have any specific plans of reading for the summer? I talked about some of the things that I'm trying to get to, and I'm excited about these projects. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.